Bow before your God. Every quiet.
IJAKUMO, the born again stripper. So now I'm wondering, he born again, a stripper? I don't understand. Is a stripper now going to church, or is a church person going to a strip club? This one is confusing me. I don't understand. Or do you guys understand? But anyway, before I go right into that movie, have you subscribed? I mean, if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please, guys, subscribe to this video and, of course, share to your friends and family. Yes, guys. Welcome back, guys. If you're just tuning in, this is Movies TV and we're doing our usual movie review. So today I'm going to be talking about IJAKUMO, the movie that came out this December, and it has been amazing. Okay, so this movie came out 2 days before Christmas and everyone flooded into the cinemas, including myself, to see the movie and enjoy it and get to see what it's about. So now this movie started up with like a remembrance kind of thing for a burial where Toyin is seen, she's Ashabi in this movie with her long dread, with people helping her to carry it, and then she came back home to pay homage to her late father, Ifayemi. And then it takes us back to the city. It started off in Abeokuta State, close to Olumorok, and then takes us back to the city with a church scene where Kunle Remi is acting as the pastor, and of course he's in church telling the members to sow their seed, to donate to God, to empty their pockets for the Lord, empty their bank account. That kind of thing that you be like, Pastor Shemugoni, what's all that rubbish? Empty bank account, why will we empty our bank account? Because of what happened? That kind of crazy stuff. So then it also showed where the choir mistress was leading the song in the church, and her beautiful voice like that of a nightingale, and singing so well to the glory of God. Then later it leaves that scene and then it shows where the choir mistress, Sister Mary, goes to meet Kunle Remi, that's the pastor, and then she goes to meet him and she's telling him, okay, so this is what she wants to achieve, that she really needs the pastor's help, that the pastor should help her out with some money because she needs it for her sister. Her sister is down with lupus and she cannot afford the treatment. So this happens and the pastor feels like he shouldn't give her any money, and then he's like telling her to open a part of the Bible. And when she opens the part of the Bible, he also told her that she should not. So this part, the pastor also tells her, Sister Mary, that she should not put her hope on man, but she should put her hope on God. I mean, that wasn't what she wanted to hear. I mean, that's definitely what you as a person would want to hear when you have a sibling or a family member or a loved one down with a serious sickness and somebody somewhere is just telling you, okay, this is this, this is that. Don't put your trust in me. Put your trust in God. Are you serious? Are you fine? Really? That feeling now, the feeling when you're like, oh gosh, this is off. You know what I'm saying? So that was the feeling that Sister Mary had at that point in time, and then she left with her hopes dashed and all of that. And then later it's also another scene is shown when Kunle Remi is seen with like a cult kind of setting, and you'll be surprised and you'll be like, wait, what is a pastor looking for in a cult scenario and all of that? As he's in that scenario, he gets to talk with the members of his cult, which is filled with men and of course a woman as their leader in person of Bimbo Akitola. So this also shows where Bimbo Akitola now asked him, so he said something related to God. I mean, I'm wondering why a pastor who is in a cult, a secret society, so to say, is mentioning God's name. I mean, you don't believe in God and you do things like that, because it's even stipulated in the Bible that you can't serve God with mammon. So that this part shows when the pastor is saying stuff related to God, and then Biba Akitola, who is the secret society leader, is telling him, "You, a wretched boy, I picked from the gutters and cleaned you up," and stuff like that. Who is your God? I am your God. Bow before your God. And he had to bow before her. That place gave some kind of reaction like, "Hey, man of God." That kind of shock, that he gave at that point. And then after the whole meeting, he got so pissed, he got so angry, and he just left. And next thing, he went straight to a club to cool off. He wanted to just cool off his head and cool off, his mind and all of that. And then he goes to the club, this club where they do boudoir, there are ladies for rich gentlemen to watch and, just enjoy some private moments. So as that happens, Kunle goes off and sees this stripper stripping, and then he asks someone in that strip club, "Okay, so what is this person's name? I want that stripper." But then the stripper is on a mask. She cannot see him and he cannot see her physically. So then it also shows up that place. There was this very, very funny scenario there, because a pastor wanted to have a private dance with a stripper. I mean, man of God. I mean, members are falling down, spirit is catching everybody, Holy Spirit is moving, and then from a secret society, now you are in a strip club. It was weird, it was absurd, and all of that. And then girl has a private moment with the pastor has a private moment with Sharon, the stripper, after staking about 1 million naira or thereabouts just to dance with her alone. And then while dancing with her, I think he got, overwhelmed with the whole ass and booty and, everything that was shaking in front of him. He was probably losing his mind. And then the next thing he does was to, first of all, he got touchy. She took his hands up and warned him that he's not supposed to get touchy. And then the next thing, he tries to take off her mask, and he, lifted up the mask, forcefully, when she didn't even expect it. And then she was like, "Oh my God, freak," and he was like, "It's me, it's me, it's me." And he took his own mask off. But she just ran out of the room, the session was over since he had violated rules. And that was that. And then the next day in church, pastor is going to tell his secretary that, "Please put Sister Mary on my payroll," because he wants to be paying a certain amount of money. Now that sounded funny. I thought you said you were not going to give Sister Mary money yesterday, that she should put her hope in God and not put her hope in you, because God is the one that is going to sort her problems. Now you decided to sort the problems for her. It was a bit funny and weird, when he said all of that. So Sister Mary appears in church and she's like, "Thank you so much, Pastor. I'm really grateful. I appreciate everything you do." And then he's like, "We understand each other. Yesterday you were this, yesterday you were that." And then the girl was just like, "Pastor, I don't understand what you're saying." She was just, just having a conversation and all of that. So because Pastor has seen that, okay, Sister Mary is Sharon in a strip club, he's obviously into it, and he's now loving the new person. So now pastor does not concentrate on the altar again while everyone is preaching, while the choristers are singing and Sister Mary is leading. He's looking at Sister Mary and all he's seeing is her in a bikini, in a bra and a pants, singing, when she's actually wearing a choir robe. I mean, that was actually funny, funny. So then another part is when Sharon finally succeeded in stealing a flash drive from the pastor, that's Kunle Remi. And so this flash drive contains some document files, you know, of the people that all of them in that secret society have scammed, stolen from, you know, their shady deals, all their secrets, every single thing was in that flash drive. She handed it over to Toyin Abraham, who was Ashabi in that movie. And then when she handed it over to Toyin Abraham, she's wondering, okay, what do you want to do with this and all of that? But that one understood that, okay, you know what, thank you very much. And then Toyin Abraham, Ashabi hands it over to the hacker in person of Anto. And then that one hacked into it, got all the money, got all the documents, got everything, hacked into it and moved all that money. So Ashabi asks that she doesn't want any amount at all in that money since she's already rich. So she just wants everything moved back into the accounts of those people that owns every single thing. So now while that is going on, Sharon decides to have a conversation with Ashabi, like, okay, so what again do you really need? Like, why do you want this to happen? Why is this so? Why are you doing this and all that? That's when Ashabi reveals to him that to her, Sharon, that she dated Kunle Remi years before he became a pastor, and he was broke, he was hungry, and everything, he was suffering. And she decided to, you know, connect him to her father, who was a very powerful herbalist. Well, he said he wasn't going to do the spiritual protection for him to become a fake pastor because he did not have what it takes, and it was wrong to deceive people. So Ashabi decided to send Kunle Remi to show to another herbalist who now did it for him, and then he became very potent, and he buried the pig alive, you know, did some rituals, and he became rich. So when he became rich, he felt like, okay, so Ashabi is this local person, a chief priest's daughter who has tribal marks, you know, the normal or your tribal marks. Like, why on earth is she going to have that terrible look on her face? And why is she going to have that nonsense when he can actually just have a new, beautiful, sexy, hot babe? So instead of breaking up with Ashabi, the pastor felt like, okay, the best thing to do was to get her poisoned. And then he gave her poison to eat. If not for the potency of her father's charm, she would have died. And her father's spirit intervention, you know, she would have died. But she lost the baby in her womb. And she was destined to have only one child. So, meaning she could never have a child again. So, after all of this, you know, happened, she decided she wanted to revenge, she wanted to get back at him and all of that. And then she decided to do what she did. So when Sharon heard all of that, she knew, oh, okay, this person actually deserves to take her revenge and ruin this person's life and all of that. So that was how Sharon left. But so the whole secret got exposed, and Kunle Remi found out everything. Then he found out that, okay, fine, definitely it must have been the stripper he brought home that took that flash and gave it to someone else, but he didn't know who. So the whole secret got exposed. Then he decided to kidnap Sister Mary in church. So after beating her up, she didn't say anything because she said she didn't know anything about it. She was almost, you know, fainting. She had been beaten, she had been slapped, she had been on everything. That's where there was a plot twist. Now the plot twist is Mary, the choir mistress, and Sharon, the stripper, are two different persons. They are twins. One got missing at childbirth, so that's how they, you know, didn't know each other, that they were twins. So Kunle didn't know that they were twins. He thought Mary and Sharon were the same person, unknown to him that they were two different persons. So his brother was able to locate Sharon while she was about to leave the country and brought her over. So while they tried to, you know, get crazy, okay, where is the file, where are the documents, stuff like that, beat up, do this and that, that was when he now found out that, okay, so he had already made a mistake, and then he said, okay, fine, he's going to kill her because he couldn't leave her to go back to church and see what she had seen. Then while he was about to kill her, Ashabi came inside, and that was where the whole twist happened. So the whole thing was, a bit crazy at that place. There was so much shootings, guns, and all of that. But in the end, the pastor died, and because every bullet he was sending to Ashabi, she directed it back to him. I mean, that part was crazy. And he died, his brother died, and Ashabi finally got the revenge that she wanted. So guys, you know how we always do it. There's always the good and there's always the bad and the ugly. So the movie was interesting. It was worth it. It was worth the hype and everything. But the only part, the story about the surrogacy, I mean, as at then, in those days, people really didn't know much about surrogacy. So I think they shouldn't have used that in the movie. I'm just saying, I think they shouldn't have used that, since they were talking about something that happened like over 20 something years ago. If you want to say something that is dating back, you should focus on the things that were, reigning at that point. I mean, surrogacy came out properly, like well known, in the recent times, not in those days. So they would have used something like, okay, maybe the woman wanted to buy a child, or wanted somebody that would get pregnant for her husband and give birth to a child or something. I didn't feel that surrogacy was the right word that they should have used as at that point. But aside that, I think the movie was a good one. It was okay. I mean, it's not every day that you get to see a Yoruba movie in the cinema and you get to enjoy it. It's always having either a terrible ending or the other. But this was great. This was beautiful. This was amazing. And we loved it. So, Lolade did really well in her role. I mean, acting both parts and all of that. Then Kunle Remi, I don't know, then they can swear for you. In the other movie, Asaro, this same human being left a woman and follow another woman. Now again, he left Ashabi and follow another woman. I don't know what is the Kunle Remi's problem with always leaving women and following Nyash. Saro, that's the same Nyash that he followed. This one again is the same. I don't understand. They taking Nyash straight for Kunle. In fact, I confused. Okay, so aside that, I think the movie was top notch and it was nice. It was okay. It was a beautiful piece of art and it was worth it. Big kudos to Toyin Abraham. I always love her productions. They are always nice and always beautiful. All right, guys, that will be all for today on the movie review. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. I remain Agutashalo Omomi. Thank you and bye.
Audio Jungle.